So a shoe storage cabinet can completely transform the look of any entryway, but it really depends on the shoe storage cabinet that you get. So I have ordered 2 very popular shoe storage cabinets off of Amazon, and I'm just going to compare them here. They're very similar, but there's a few key differences that I'm going to go over. Both of them are really great price point. And now I went for a little bit of the wider, they're not the super narrow shoe cabinet that only fits 1 row of shoes. These fit 2 rows of shoes. So they're a little bit on the wider side. I'll just show you here. They're each roughly about this wide. You can get shoe cabinets that are half of that can fit right behind a door, but I wanted to be able to store more shoes, which is why I went with the wider ones. So they both have, like you can see here, 2 rows of shoes. Now they're roughly the same size. I'm going to say, yeah, they're probably almost identical. And this one is just 31.5. And this one is 31.5. So they are the identical sizes here. And what you can see here is when you're doing men's shoes versus women's shoes, you're probably going to have a little bit of a difference. So the men's shoes, you can really only fit sort of 3 pairs lengthwise here if you've got big men in your house, whereas women's shoes, I can fit 4 pairs. So, and they have the 2 rows. So in this one with 8, so you're going to fit about 16 pairs of shoes in this one if it's women's shoes. The men's, you're probably going to be more along the lines of 12, maybe up to 15 pairs, depending on what kinds of shoes you put. Like you can double your slippers. Now, one other thing about these that I'm going to show you in terms of the storage is that because this rack on both of them can come right out. So if you had, say you wanted to put your large hiking boots, things like that, you could fit a few of those in there, of boots, rather than 2 racks of shoes. But you're only going to fit about 3 or 4 pairs at that. So that's a great feature of both of them, that this rack, and it can go, just pull these out here and show you. They can go, so if you had really slim, say you were doing flip-flops on the bottom and then bare shoes, it can fit, there's 3 different slots that they can fit in depending on sort of the width of the shoes. So you've got the slot here, and a slot here. So you can do wider and narrower shoes. And they both of these have that function where this can slide right out. So now let's talk overall construction. They are both very similar in the number of pieces and whatnot. This one was way easier to put together than this one. There was a few times where you kind of needed 2 people to put this one together, one to hold where it was going and the other one to screw in the thing. This one could all be done by 1 person. So if you need something that's easy to put together by 1 person, this is probably a better option. Other things that are a little bit different about them is this one, you can actually see the hardware on here, which I do not like. This one is very clean. No hardware is visible on it. And I love the added detail of the hardware on this. It just gives it a little bit more expensive look. Again, it's got some more substantial handles on it on here. These ones are a little bit slimmer and smaller. This one wobbles a lot more than this one. They both wobble a bit, and both of them came with anchors to be able to anchor them against the wall, which is highly recommended when you're using a narrow cabinet and you're putting a bunch of heavy shoes in it. As you can see, there's the anchors there that will fit it against the wall. And this one has them up on the top, as you can see. So same sort of thing. They can both be anchored against the wall. And you can hear the difference too. Opening, that one closes a lot cleaner than this one. This one rattles a little bit more when it's cleaner, so I think this front piece is a little bit thinner probably than that one. That one might be a little bit more of a substantial piece of wood. This one has more of a faux, like a wood feel to it than this is a smoother surface. And as you can see, this one has a straight edge along here. This one has a nicer beveled. It's just a more expensive looking piece. And again, it's got the cross on the front, the more farmhouse style. This has more of an, I guess, like an arrow. It doesn't have that cross, but similar design, both sort of farmhouse. One other thing that I want to note is the feet on both of these. They both come with these ones are a sleeker. It's a black plastic. The other one is also a plastic foot. That I was disappointed at. I thought it was a matching wood foot to this one, but it's almost like a mustard color, I'm gonna say, and they are plastic as well. I think if they had been a wood foot, it would have made a huge difference, or it's similar material even to this. I know this is a veneer or faux wood anyways, but I think it would have looked nice with a natural wood leg. These ones are fine with the black plastic foot because it matches the black hardware. That one probably would have done better if they tried to match the black hardware. It might have pulled it together a little bit better than that, but it blends. You don't really notice it, but when you know, you know. And a couple of other things about it. They both have the little shelf where you can keep your keys, things like that when you come into the house, purses, whatever you need to store on here, little knickknacks. You put a nice picture frames that you could dress it up that way. They come in different colors, both of them do. This is the blue, and when I saw it online, it looked a little bit brighter of a blue than what it actually is, but I really do like it. It's almost like a charcoal-y type blue. So I do like that about this. This one I think comes in, this is the natural, I think it comes in walnut, white, and black. This one I'm not sure what other colors, but you can obviously see that online. And what else? Price point, they're similar. So really good on the price point. We've gone over the hardware, gone over how they function, how many pairs of shoes actually fit in them. Now, one of the things that I find funny is that they always say that you should talk about, like, you know, the odor. Well, they're always going to smell when you open them because you got shoes in them, especially if you have men in your house. So, but what I would recommend, because they are open to the wall where you anchor them on the wall, is you could put just those freshener stick-ups and stick it right against the wall, and it will keep that smelling fresh all the time. Or you could spray them, but I think it's a good idea. In fact, if you had an area in your home where this was over an outlet, you could put one of those air purifiers plugged right into the wall, and you wouldn't be able to see it. These will, both of them, the way that the legs are situated, is both of them can still push right up against the wall even if you have a molding, which is great. So you don't need to take that back leg off or anything like that. It will slide right up against the wall. So now, if I was to recommend which one, I would probably, if I was only going to keep one of these, I would have to say it would be this one. And that is my own personal preference. I don't like the fact that you can see the hardware on this one. That one really, if you've got it in a really slim entryway where it's up against the wall on those sides, that would be fine. But I don't like the fact that if you're walking down the hallway, you're going to be able to see those screws there. I think that's a big fail on that one for me. I also, even though this one, the closing, it's a little bit more, it slams a little bit more than this one. I just like the overall look of this. I like the color. I like the added hardware. I just think it gives it a little bit more of that upscaled look. This, I think with that neutral look, if you are looking for something that's just going to blend into your entryway, very neutral looking, this is a great, great option. But if my final verdict on overall, because really they're the same size, same function, all that kind of stuff, will fit the same number of shoes, I would have, this one feels just a little bit more expensive to me, and with the similar price points, I'm gonna go with this one because I think it looks like a more high-end decor piece. So there you have it, that is my recommendation. Thanks so much.